Guys, so welcome back to the channel. Listen, so for my birthday that weekend, I didn't cook anything at all that weekend, and so I wanted to cook today, which is Monday the 18th. And so I am making red rice, macaroni and cheese, greens, and baked barbecue chicken. So here's my greens. Hold on. This is my greens. I seared some neck bones. They're down in the bottom. Greens, wash and clean, put them on top, and I added some onions, red bell pepper and green bell pepper, and this is some seasoning. I got black pepper, some Slap Your Mama, some onions powder, some garlic powder. I also used some Badia Complete, and that's it for now. So I'm gonna get that started, turn the eye down low, and then get started on my mac and cheese and my red rice. So for my macaroni and cheese, I am using some rotini noodles today. I just wanted to give it a shot. I always use elbow macaroni, and for the most part I use cavatappi noodles, which is like a spiral, but I probably have some a little bit, but not enough. But anyway, I got my water, it's boiling. I added seasoning to it. I added some salt and some Maggi pollo. Now I'm cooking this, but let me tell you something. It's only the two of us here, and I'm gonna be cooking it like I'm feeding the army, and that's crazy because I don't know how to cook for two people. But anyway, I'll figure it out one day, not today though. So this is some sausage, some bacon, and some onions. I'm gonna get the sausage and the bacon in the pan and cut up a bell pepper and get that going also. Be back. So I got my everything together. So I got my sausage and bacon cooking for, let me show you. Sausage and bacon cooking for the red rice. Greens over there, little steam, pardon me. I got my onions and bell peppers. That's gonna go with the red rice. And I'm about to cook the macaroni and cheese. And I use rotini noodles, just a little bit of pasta water. I use cream of mushroom. I use extra sharp cheese. And I also have milk. I already put the butter in there and it's melted. And I'll use some seasonings as well. So I added the onions and bell peppers. I'm also going to add some tomato paste. And that helps it gives it flavor, but it also keeps it red. Makes it red. So I use about 2 tablespoons of that, and I mix that up and make sure I cook the tomato paste really good. Put the tomato taste off, and then I'll show you what I do next. So the mac and cheese is done. I'm about to put the aluminum foil on it and put it into the oven. Now this is the beginning stages of the red rice. This is the onion, bacon, sausage, bell peppers, and tomato paste. And now I'm about to do the next step so that can go in the oven as well. So the next step is get a can of your tomato paste. Tomato sauce, and empty that in. And to get your rice to come out not so soggy and not so dry, you put the same amount of parboiled rice. I measure by the can. So whatever size can I decide to use, I use that same amount of rice. So once you get your sauce, okay, so you cook your meat, which is your whatever kind of meat you decide to use. I use smoked sausage and I use bacon. Cut it up into pieces. I didn't even use the whole, it was the Hillshire link. I didn't even use the whole link. I cut it in half, and then I cut them into the little thin disc. I took a half a pack of the bacon and cut those up into small pieces as well. Then I added onion, bell pepper, red and green, some garlic. I used 1 can of tomato sauce. Like I said, also, I'm sorry, let me back up. While everything else was cooking, I added tomato paste to that. And I let that cook because, you know, it's best to let the tomato paste cook. I let that cook. I added 1 can of tomato sauce. I'm going to add 1 can of rice. And right before I do that, though, I'm going to let the tomato sauce and everything kind of combine. I'm going to add my seasonings to the sauce. I'm also going to add a little bit of sugar to cut the acidity. And then I will be back. So for my seasonings, I use black pepper, onion powder, Maggi Pollo, Sazon, Slap Your Mama, garlic powder, some Badia Complete, and I also add sugar. I use packets of sugar. I don't get the big bag of sugar because it lasts like a year. I use a few packets of the sugar to cut the acidity. Kind of just go. You might like it if you like your sauce to be bitter or what have you. Then don't use no sugar. But I use whatever kind of seasoning. And I use the seasonings that you can use, whatever kind of seasoning. I use the seasoning that I was just telling you about. And then I am about to, let this cook a little bit more, because I almost want it to come like to a boil. You know what I mean? And it's going to be really red because of the paste. And I'm going to add the sugar. So I add like 5 little packets of the sugar. And you can taste it along the way and just kind of let that cook a little bit. Almost like I said, come to a boil. Okay, so like I was saying, let me turn it this way. So I am going to add the rice into the sauce. And with this can, this is it says 29 ounces. So like I said, whatever size can that you decide to use the same exact amount of rice, equal parts. So I'm adding the rice, and then you want to make sure you scrape all of the rice out of it also. You know what I mean? So one second, I'll be back. So right here, I've added the rice into the sauce, and I'm just gonna let that kind of cook a little bit so that I can almost start the process of the rice, you know what I mean? Like with water, almost like a fry kind of, but not quite. I don't know how to explain it, but so I'm gonna let that cook a little, just maybe about another 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna put it in a pan and put it in the oven. Now I've emptied, it came to a boil, and I emptied it into the pan, and as you can see, it doesn't look like a lot, but you know rice swells. So it's going to pretty much fill up the pan. So yeah, I'm going to add a few pats of butter on the top, wrap it up, and stick it into the oven. There you go. Add a few pats of butter, and now I'm about to put it in the oven. All right, that's the mac about to go in the oven. All right, and this is going to be the barbecue chicken. I seasoned it, just whatever seasoning that you choose to use. What made it so red is I added a little smoked paprika and some Sazon, and I put some onion and some pats of butter. I'm about to put it in the oven. All right, while everything is cooking, I am going to clean up my mess. It's not a whole lot, just the stuff that I was really cooking with. There's the pan, the mac, the red rice, lids and other stuff, silverware. This gonna go on the chicken, cutting board, my seasonings that I was using. Yeah, I'm about to handle all of this, and I shall be back. So this is the midway point for the red rice. And I took it out, took the top off, and just mixing it up a little, or, you know, just to kind of break it up so it won't look like one big brick. You know what I mean? I like my rice to be fluffy. And I'm going to put it back in there for a little bit. Now, if you get to the point where your rice is a little bit undercooked, you can add a little bit of broth. You can add water. My rice is actually just the right, what you call it, it's cooking the right way. So yeah, so it's not bad at all. Very flavorful. Go Mia. But yep, so I'm gonna mix that up a little bit more, and I'm gonna wrap it back up and let the steam finish cook it, and it'll be all done. I meant to tell y'all or show you guys that the kitchen is clean, because I hate going to bed with a dirty dish. I hate going to bed with a dirty kitchen. Y'all, when I say my greens is bussin', I'm telling you, my greens are delicious. Let's wait and see what's happening with the rest of it. But them greens is bust. So the macaroni and cheese is done. The red rice is done. The greens done. Only thing I'm waiting on now is the barbecue chicken, and I will be done. Yes, I cooked a whole big old meal, Sunday meal on a Monday. Yep, my birthday meal to myself. Now, I'll probably eat it. What time is it? At this point, it is 18:56, so it's 6:56. So I might get some greens and some red rice, maybe, or greens and a piece of chicken, because it is way too late to be eating all of this. But I will fix my son's plate and I will show you the final results. Thanks. So right now this is the chicken, and it looks so red because of the seasoning that I put on it, but I am going to add the BBQ sauce. Yeah. And this sauce that I'm using, I do have some Sweet Baby Ray's, but this is Kraft Sweet and Spicy, which is not spicy at all, but yeah. And I like barbecue sauce, and my son does too, but not like where the food is drowning in it. You know what I mean? So to me, this is just enough. And I'm definitely going to get the rest of that out of there. Put that back in the oven, uncovered, and we should have the results shortly. All right, guys, so the chicken is done. Yep. So I'm going to plate this up and show you the final product, or the results, or the, the plate. All right, guys, and this is my son's plate. This is it. Final results. Final plating. Collard greens, red rice, macaroni and cheese, baked barbecue chicken. This is my birthday dinner, and this is my son's plate. Like I said, I might eat a little bit, but this is definitely the finished product. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy.